Welcome, clowns with tearaway faces, to Shriek Salads, a Halloween retro recap for YouTube from the Geek Salad podcast. I'm Andy.
And I'm Mike.
And joining us today, we have a special guest from our Disney discussion shows.
Hi, I'm Jonna.
Hey, Jonna. Jonna's out in California. Mike will be out there soon.
Yes, I will.
It'll be awesome for you guys. So today we are wrapping up our Shriek Salad.
I'm not doing that.
Yeah, no, this is why I talk the way I talk. With a final Halloween movie for the year that also brings us into the next holiday season. That's right, 1993's The Nightmare Before Christmas.
This was the first time I've seen this one in a very long time. I saw the way through. Yeah, I hadn't watched this one all the way through in a long time.
Jonna, when was the last time you saw The Nightmare Before Christmas?
Last night. I actually didn't see this one when it first came out because it was 93 and I was knee-deep in college and moving to another part of the state. So I had a lot on my plate at that point.
Understood.
But I had caught bits and pieces of it over the years. But when I knew you guys were going to do this, I actually sat down and watched the whole thing and a couple of times so that I could get a real sense of it.
Okay. Mike, when was the first time you saw A Nightmare Before Christmas?
The first time I saw it was in theaters.
Yep.
My great aunt has took me actually.
Okay.
I was bouncing back and forth between this one and Rudy.
Ooh.
I've never seen Rudy, but I ultimately decided on this one, and so she took me to see it, and I remember enjoying it more than I thought I would because I was kind of leaning towards Rudy for a while, but I think she talked me into it. But I really didn't remember too much from it, and so watching again just on Sunday, I think I saw a lot that I had forgotten about.
Yeah, I also saw this in theaters. I was also in college. I remember being the only one in my circle of friends who was excited about it.
Well, Tim Burton.
Well, yeah, the Tim Burton thing. But the other thing with it too was that I love the style of stop motion animation. And because Danny Elfman had provided the songs for it, it was like this is just this trifecta of things that I love coming together in one movie that it's also a fun Halloween movie. And realistically speaking, there's not a whole lot of like fun Halloween movies.
That's fair.
True.
Yeah. What the interesting thing was also, I remember after it came out, I immediately bought the soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I loaned it to Jim, our friend Jim, and he said it's one of the best things he had ever heard.
Wow.
And I don't remember if he had seen the movie or not at that point. And that was 1993. I remember being very excited in 94. Back when when they used to have like that year-long wait for holiday movies? So if a Christmas movie came out kind of in the fourth quarter of one year, you'd wait almost an entire year until the holiday season of the next year before it would come out on any form of home video. That was The Nightmare Before Christmas, and I was so excited to get my copy, and I watched it like 3 times.
Nice.
Yes. And then Hot Topic ruined it.
Well, they tend to do that with a lot of things.
This one in particular, but we'll get into that in a second in terms of how well it holds up. The voice cast in this movie is great. Catherine O'Hara is always great, and it's funny because you would think that she would be more of a Tim Burton stalwart that she ended up being.
Yeah, I mean, she did this one in Beetlejuice, and
I think that's it. I may be mistaken, but I'm fairly certain that's it for her. This is the only thing Chris Sarandon had ever done within that wheelhouse.
Yeah.
But Danny Elfman also, so Chris Sarandon did the speaking voice of Jack Skellington. Danny Elfman provided the singing voice.
And the only reason they hired Chris Sarandon is because his speaking voice sounds similar to Danny Elfman's singing voice.
Singing voice, yeah. But Danny Elfman is no actor, so
no.
So those are your main characters, and then from there you've got the rogues gallery of people like Glenn Shaddix, who was Otho in Beetlejuice. He played the mayor. William Hickey played the mad scientist.
Who also played who also played Toulon in Puppet Master. So that's two characters we hit twice this season.
Doing a lot of full circling on this. We're a lot more clever than we give ourselves credit for. Who else? Well, Paul Rubens.
Yeah.
Is, I believe, he's Shock at a Lock, Shock, and Barrel.
Yeah.
He's Shock. Catherine O'Hara is
Lock. No. Catherine O'Hara is Shock.
Yes.
Okay.
Paul Rubens is Locke.
And Barrel is Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
And Ken Page is Oogie Boogie.
Yeah. And I mean that I really don't think there are any like major hold on, I got the Glenn Shaddix, Ken Page, William Hickey, Ed Ivory as Santa Claus.
Oh, okay.
I think it's actually to the credit of the production that when you hear the voices, you're not thinking, you're still seeing the characters. It's not like you hear them and immediately have a sound in your head that says, this actor.
It's not like a DreamWorks animated production.
Yeah.
Let's just put it that way. Let's just put those cards on the table. It's not a DreamWorks animated production where they make you sound as much like yourself as possible.
Yeah, it's not stunt casting.
Right. Exactly. No, you're very right. It's definitely not stunt casting. You guys ever go and watch any of the behind the scenes, like the making ofs?
No, but I did do a lot of like reading up on the making of. Apparently, there are two reasons. There are two main reasons why Tim Burton did not direct this one. First off, he was in the middle of production of Batman Returns.
Yep.
And second, he apparently really hates the slow, tedious method of stop motion.
Right.
He hated doing that.
So yes, Henry Selick is actually the credited director, which I feel really bad for him.
Well, I mean, he's kind of made his career out of stop motion. I mean, hell, doesn't he work for Leica now?
I think so. He did Coraline.
Yeah.
He did James and the Giant Peach. He's had the Disney career. Coraline. He's done any other like stop motion animation. I know he directed that terrible movie Monkey Bone.
Oh, ew.
Yeah.
And
I also know he looks like Tilda Swinton.
Really?
Yeah,
he kind of does.
Yeah. But
wow,
it's just interesting. Tim Burton, essentially, it's his story, it's his visuals, but Henry Selick gets next to no credit in just the general conversation about actually being the one who directed the movie.
Yeah.
Who spearheaded it and did all the actual hard, tedious work.
Well, I think it also doesn't help Selick's place when the fact that the actual full title of the movie is Tim Burton's A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Right. Let's talk about another thing real quick about the movie. The intro. We watched it about a week ago. We rewatched it about a week ago. And it's weird seeing Walt Disney Presents.
Yeah.
In front of it, because that Touchstone Pictures is actually the one who
yeah,
released the movie.
Disney,
I'm honestly amazed that Disney hasn't tried to retroactively make it one of their animated classics.
Well, Disney thought it was too dark and spooky for their taste at the time. Of course, that was the middle of Eisner. So
that's true.
That astonishes me, given their their history of both dark and spooky in the past.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it was only 7 years since the Black Cauldron.
Yeah, but again, Eisner. So
Yeah, which is weird
he
too,
thought,
because 2011's Winnie the Pooh is considered part of the pantheon of animated movies
Mhm.
versus The Nightmare Before Christmas.
yeah.
In terms of the songs are all fun earworms. We
Apparently,
all will get them stuck in our heads at various points between now and the Boxing Day.
apparently, Elfman has said that this was the easiest soundtrack he's ever had to write because all the songs were just so naturally for him,
Right.
which
Well,
makes
that's what
sense.
makes it that as opposed to I just crapped out like 8 songs and then did my usual weird shtick with the music.
There were a lot more songs in this movie than I had remembered there being.
Yeah.
Not counting the Dirge version of Jingle Bells.
Yeah.
Oh, that's another cast. Apparently, the saxophone player that was voiced by Greg Proops.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Bone Daddy.
So, I mean, everybody. I'm assuming that anyone who's watching this has seen The Nightmare Before Christmas. So it's not really like we have to explain what the story's about. It is an interesting take, though, especially with the thoughts of the other holiday lands.
Mm.
If Jack had watched,
what's that?
I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, given your druthers, you're lost in that forest. Which door do you open?
Well, since I'm afraid of large fowl, I would avoid the turkey door right off there. No, I probably would have chosen the Christmas one or the heart one. Although, as I once observed, if Jack had opened that one with the shamrock on it, that would have been the start of a horror movie, Leprechaun.
So
What's
now
this?
we know where that movie came from.
Growing up, what's this? What's this? I can't believe how drunk and angry everybody is.
Although I have to say, minor character is the Easter Bunny. I love the poor little Easter Bunny.
Well, that's one of the best line deliveries in the entire movie. Bunny! It is interesting how fast they got back, though. It was like they were just finishing up the line, and they had already come back from their walk in the forest.
Well, he did swipe. It looked to me like he swiped the snowmobile type thing. So.
Yeah, Jack did that, but the only thing that Lock, Shock, and Barrel had was the walking tub.
Okay, now that is creepy transportation there.
Oh man. So, how did it, since your first viewing up until the next one, how do you feel it held up?
Go ahead, Mike.
This movie, it was a lot smaller scale than I remembered it being.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not like I would say this movie is like 75%, world building, character development, and songs, and 25% story. The actual story and actual plot and like conflict and all that is very much secondary.
Okay.
I mean, and it's not. I still love the movie. It's just just the whole his whole he goes, he ruins Christmas, and then the military shoot him out of the sky, and he realizes maybe I shouldn't do this after all. And that's pretty much the entire plot. There's really, I mean, other than Oogie Boogie torturing Santa, that's it.
Yeah, that is pretty creepy. Jonna, how about you?
I have to say, for me, I think you're right. The plot line is very compact.
Yeah.
What you get is an exploration of how Jack gets to the point of actually trying to steal the holiday or take it over. And you also get the growth of Sally. And I have to say, that was something I kind of missed the first time I saw it, because I saw this limp rag doll of a girl and she was like, oh, really? But the more, when I watched it again, I was like, no, she's got more going on there. She's resisting in literally every way she can, and she's growing as a character. And she grows actually quite, I think, a bit more than Jack himself. He literally takes getting shot out of the sky to get the point across.
Yeah.
Whereas she's very much the level-headed voice of reason, but unfortunately she's also playing Cassandra and nobody is listening to her. And you gotta love Santa for being the one to point out that fact at the end.
She's the only one who makes sense in this insane asylum.
Yep.
That is one thing that I did notice, especially while watching it. Just Sally she's pretty darn smart. She's great with with chemistry, and she learned a lot from Finkelstein.
Yeah.
From living her life in there, and so she's good with cooking. She knows how to cover up the scent. She knows how to she uses the slotted spoon. And
I gotta say, one of my favorite visuals in that scene is when he goes and he drinks the soup, and you can just see his little Adam's apple bobbing up and down while he's drinking.
Yeah, she's definitely overlooked. Finkelstein, I think, more because he sees her as kind of almost a child figure. He made her, and he hasn't seen any growth in her. And because she's quiet, she gets overlooked in the generalized chaos of Halloween Town.
Right.
But the person who's basically lurking in the shadows is the person who knows everything that's going on.
Yeah. I think for myself, I mean, story-wise, it is interesting that it seems like Jack and Sally barely know each other, but they keep insisting that they're going to push this relationship through. In terms of just the overall storytelling, animation.
Sally herself, though, says she doesn't think it's going to happen.
Right.
But you had to have a happy ending because Disney.
True. I think that the animation is just still amazing. It's still very, very fluid. It doesn't show a lot of the wear that like a Rankin and Bass cartoon has shown.
Yeah, I mean, despite the fact that they're both stop motion, in Rankin Bass, you can see you can almost see the individual frames as they're moving around.
Right.
With this one, everything is smooth. There's no little kind of it's all just one smooth, fluid motion.
Right, exactly. A lot of that has to do with the automation and the cameras that they were using. Yeah, I mean, I've always said that Rankin and Bass's most technically sound stop motion show is their first one. Rudolph is more technically sound than any of the stuff that they came out with over the next 20 years. With The Nightmare Before Christmas, what I like about it is that you don't see like the individual fibers of hair moving because somebody didn't notice that they were out of place. So they don't they don't move around in a weird fashion. They do a lot with 2D animation in it too. The ghosts are essentially hand drawn. A lot of the moving mouths and stuff like that are hand drawn, with the exception of the animated maquettes, because those are just, they pop a head on and they have the AEIOU mouth motion heads. So I think that's really held up.
Well, I think that could be very much a result of the Disney influence. I mean, by that time, they had a couple major blockbusters of the Renaissance under their belt, and so they weren't going to be putting out something too sloppy at that point.
Right. Again, I think it's because it was done under the Touchstone banner. I don't think it had the same type of supervision that something like 93 was The Lion King.
No, 94 was The Lion King.
94 was The Lion King. Yeah, there was nothing in 93, strangely enough.
Yeah, 92 was Aladdin.
Yeah.
So by that point, they had Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, and Aladdin.
Pretty much that attention was going towards the 2D animation stuff. So I think they really had a free reign there to work, but still wanted to put out a quality production. And then the merchandising hit. And I could pretty much say it happened in like the later half of the 90s.
Yeah. I mean, the movie, when it came out, I think it broke even, but I don't think it was a massive hit. But
it was not a massive hit, no.
Once it hit like the home video and the TV markets, it started picking up steam and became a massive cult classic.
That seems to be the way for a lot of the Halloween films that are more family friendly.
Exactly. I mean, well, Beetlejuice was a huge hit.
Mm.
And we talked about that.
I don't consider that really, though, so much a Halloween film. It did never mention the holiday.
Yeah. It's more, that's in my circulation. Like, that is actually a Halloween movie for us here because we're creepy.
Well, I'll watch that anytime.
Yeah. It seems that once the home video hit, the saturation hit, it also, let's just, in terms of the popular culture zeitgeist as well, when the goths got their hands on this, all of a sudden it had it took on this brand new life.
Well, the goths pretty much owned Hot Topic at the time as well.
Yeah, exactly. And that's the thing. It's like, I have had more goth girls tell me that their favorite movie is The Nightmare Before Christmas than I think anybody has ever said about any movie with any other type of subgenre.
Okay.
Yeah. And to that end, it's kind of hard for me now, for someone who loves this movie, to enjoy this movie now. It's like I had a good time watching it with my kids. My kids loved it. They love the jokes. They love the songs. The songs are on our Halloween playlist. It's funny listening to my son talk about being the one hiding under your stairs with fingers like snakes and spiders in my hair. It's adorable hearing a 5-year-old say that. But it's one of those movies. Last year was the first year, in as long as I can remember, I took a hard pass and I decided I'm not going to watch the movie this year.
I have a little different perspective because from the late 90s, I was living down here, but not as close to Disneyland as I am now. But I remember going out just to dinner at a restaurant that it was fairly close to the park. And Disney was doing, I don't know about Hot Topic, but Disney was doing a whole heck of a lot of its marketing on its own, because I remember sitting there and seeing a teenage girl who was wearing Jack Skellington ears and a Jack Skellington hoodie together. And no, she didn't look particularly goth, but she had definitely outlaid, or her parents had, a fair amount of cash to get that particular ensemble.
Is it Julie that has the Sally ears?
I think so, because I know she dressed up as Halloween as Sally. Did she dress up as Sally and Amy dressed up as Jack, or?
No, I think they were both dressed as Sally.
Yeah, okay. I think you're right.
Yeah. So I mean, I know. Yeah, it doesn't. I don't think you have to necessarily be goth, but I know Disney fans have kind of taken this, especially the ones that can get out there for Not So Scary Halloween, have really kind of taken the Nightmare Before Christmas ball and friggin' run with it, because it's the closest thing that Disney has to an actual Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Oh, you would
And the
not
Christmas
believe the number
movie.
of ears that they sell now that are just this year that are Nightmare Before Christmas related.
Yeah. And I mean, it's also a Christmas movie too, so I'm guaranteed they're gonna show up at Mickey's Very Merry, right?
They did when we were when we went to Walt Disney World. They were definitely there.
Okay. But do they do that in Cali?
No, we do not have Christmas parties out here yet. Fingers crossed.
Gotcha.
But we do the Halloween party. And I know they were present at that.
I did see on our Blu-ray of Nightmare Before Christmas, we actually had a walkthrough of the Disneyland Haunted Mansion with the Nightmare Before Christmas overlay.
Yeah, they've been doing that ever since 2004.
Yeah, and it took me a lot of strength to not text the both of you and curse you both out. Aren't you proud of me for my restraint?
I'm shocked.
I remember taking Mike the first time to it when they had that on, and you get to the part in the stretching room where the lights go out, and I remember hearing him say, "That is so cool."
Yeah.
It was just a tone of awe.
Are the characters different?
Oh yeah, they changed the paintings. Like I think the ballerina on top of the string, over the alligator. I believe that's Sally.
Okay.
Sally also has one where she's holding the Christmas tree that burns down.
Yep.
Yeah, they change every one of the paintings in the portrait gallery on that one.
Man.
And but
the
then
whole place.
When all the lights go out and you look up and you normally you'd see the guy hanging from the attic.
Yeah.
Instead, you got Jack's face right there saying Happy Christmas to everyone or something like that. I forget exactly.
And at the very end, when you're leaving the mansion, where little Leota normally is telling you to hurry back and bring your death certificate, it's a very little Sally.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. So, I mean, overall, I think this movie is still infinitely watchable. People need to shut up about it.
I think that some of the fun is in the little details. Like, I was profoundly amused that, in Halloween Town, the sun exists, but it's a giant pumpkin.
Right.
And even so, it does, to a certain extent, affect the vampires. They're out in the daytime, but they're under their little parasols.
Yep. Did you notice, and this is more prevalent if you have it on like a high definition format, like a Blu-ray, Zero's nose is actually a pumpkin.
Yeah.
Tiny little jack-o'-lantern.
I love earlier in the movie they show him they show Jack reading all the Christmas books and he picks up and reads Rudolph, and then later on when Sally's trying to make the mist to stop them, and guess who he gets? He gets Zero to light the way.
I remember actually laughing my tail off in the movie theater when they started talking about that.
I thought that was just such a little clever, especially with having him read Rudolph earlier.
Right.
Wonderful callback.
So, this is a fine movie. It's one of those movies I do adore. It's become a little overrated, but that might just be. Sometimes you don't have to like some of the fans in order to enjoy a movie.
Well, just look at the shirt you're wearing right now.
That's true.
I don't know. I can't see what shirt he's
wearing. More than a Star Wars fan.
Yeah.
Yeah, this Mike got me this one, my 40th anniversary Macquarie Star Wars shirt. I wear lovingly at least once a week. This is a high rotation shirt, Mike.
Because we love all the people that watched The Last Jedi, don't we?
Solo. Don't forget those SJWs who watch Solo as well. God, I hate them all.
Yeah.
So, Jonna, thank you so much for joining us for Nightmare Before Christmas. Hopefully, you'll get to join us again. I think we're actually planning another Disney conversation. Hopefully, if Julie can free up her schedule this week.
Hey, that would be fun.
Where our potential idea is that we are going to be Imagineers for a day.
So many ideas.
Oh, I've been very public about some of my ideas lately too, and I think I missed my calling.
Oh yeah. I really do like that idea that you've got.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
I have another one. I know what I wanted to do with Stitch's Great Escape.
Burn it to the ground.
Well,
considering how we know you feel about Stitch.
You know what? Nothing brought me more pleasure than seeing that animatronic stripped down to its metal bones. Just me. Yeah, so hopefully soon we will have our discussion up on that, which you would only find out if you subscribe to this channel. So don't forget to hit the subscribe button, like this video. Also, comment. Let us know what you think of Nightmare Before Christmas. Did we miss anything? Am I totally off base on its fan base?
I'm sure. Like I'm fairly certain Julie will let us know how wrong we were that we don't love this movie.
Well, we love this movie, but not in the way that we are apparently supposed to love this movie. And I'm still amazed. I never heard anything back from her about Hocus Pocus.
Yeah.
Maybe she was busy watching the 87 repeats that they did this month alone.
I don't get it. It's just me. I'm a guy. I was 22 when that movie came out. And no, I was 21 when that movie came out in the theaters.
I've still never seen it.
It was a summer release, Mike, and it's a Halloween movie.
Yeah, I've still never seen it.
Go fig. Go fig.
So I just love the fact that it's got young McGee in it.
Thank you so much for joining us, Jonna. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Also, Mike and I host a little podcast called Geek Salad. If you can't tell from the channel that you're watching right now, our audio is available here on YouTube as well as on Stitcher, Spotify, iTunes, and Google Music.
And episode 169 just went up yesterday.
Yes, our Halloween episode, our 11th annual Halloween episode went up yesterday, where we talk about classic Universal monsters.
Yep.
Real acid. I just listened. That's very clever. So you can check us out all there. You can follow us on Twitter at Geek Salad Radio and follow us on YouTube at Geek Salad Podcast. So anyway, this was a fun month of shrieking, Mike.
Yes, it was.
And now stay tuned for the new show on television. So anyway, I'm Andy.
I'm Mike.
And I'm Jonna.
Go forth, be nerdful, and happy Halloween. We'll see you next week.